What's going on, everybody? Not here. And I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now, and the best way to put this out. And what I've been trying to do is figure out the best way to kind of set up a proxy measurement of how quickly packs are being destroyed or opened by the public. I went back and forth with some of the folks on Discord, and this is what I've come up with. Now, this is only one data point right now. As we start the trend this week over week over week, I think what we're going to see is some really, really interesting data. So let's talk through the concept. So obviously, column A, we have each set, including the four special sets, right? Um, I picked effectively the top card in each set. Some of these, it's like, not the easiest thing in the world, uh, but just bear with me. And I pulled obviously the date here, the number of total cards that were graded across all of the grading companies. Just if it's booked, whether it's a 10 or a 1, how many? I pulled the pull rates. So this is the number of packs to pull one card. Um, and then we back into the implied number of packs ripped. Now we do have to make one assumption here, which is what percentage of cards are submitted for grading and what percentage is not. Now the good thing is this measurement is all relative. And the reason I say that is the percentage of cards submitted for grading should be relatively consistent across all sets and cards. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. But for example, there's a ton of sealed product for this out here. So if somebody, is somebody more likely, if they're going to grade a Charizard EX from 151, are they more likely to not grade a Greninja or the Groudon IR? No, I think if people are grading cards, they're going to grade all of these cards. I don't see if somebody is grading cards and they have all of these cards, why they would grade one or not the other. It just doesn't make sense to me psychologically. So again, the assumption is all of these cards are graded in an equal percentage to the total outstanding. And look, you guys can nitpick which one. I mean, the Persian IR for Shrouded, you can pick any crappy card. It is what it is. So here's what gets interesting. You get into the packs ripped. So, and this is where it gets fascinating. And just so everybody's aware, this is based on the number of cards that have received a grade. So as we know, there's 60 to 90 days of pipeline. There's cards in transit that haven't been booked. So this is going to be a very understated number. But as we start posting this data week after week after week, and the reason I'm putting this out here is, I'm sure there's going to be 2 or 3 other channels that are start to do the same thing and just copy it. It's just the way it works. But we'll see what the trend looks like. What packs are being ripped? What packs or what sets aren't being ripped as much? What's accelerating? What's decelerating? And again, it's just picking a proxy of the set and normalizing the rest of the variables. So SV base, fewest by far. And again, I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at the other cards, but Gardevoir's kind of been the top card of the set the entire time. So 29 million packs. Paldi evolved, 62. Now, what's interesting is SV base. This tells me that all things equal, and there's probably the same amount of sealed product of these initially printed, that there's a whole heck of a lot more SV base boxes sealed than there are Paldi evolved. Now, Obsidian Flames, 70 million packs, 32,000 of the Charizard SIRs. And then you go to kind of the dead zone. Paradox Rift with the Groudon IR, 30 million. You go to Temporal Forces with the Raging Bolt, 38.8. Now, the Groudon may be a little understated because the value of the card wasn't much. It was probably marginal to get it graded up until recently. So this could be understated a little bit. The Raging Bolt was a big card, kind of from the beginning. Greninja, this is the one that shocked me the most. So 102 million equivalent packs of Twilight. So this was one of those sets where nobody could get. But apparently the packs have been gotten somewhere. So this is super interesting, and I think this is really the fact that a lot of these went through rip and shippers, specifically for the Greninja. Now, this might be one of those areas where there's a higher percentage of them graded versus not, but you never know. Squirtle, this is another one that's surprising to me. So Squirtle and Bulbasaur have been the highest graded cards in quantity for month after month after month. Only 26 million 600 packs ripped so far. Now, we can factor in what the normalized time is on the chart here if we want to. Quite honestly, I don't really care because this is all about how much is being ripped today. um, so, Surging Sparks, 105 million. Not surprising here at all. Journey Together, the fact that it's only 72,000 packs is just a function of the cards have been submitted. The grading hasn't been done. We're effectively 6 days into release. This number is going to explode in the next week or two. But at least we have a set that has that first data point, and we can start tracking it week over week over week. Here's another thing that was shocking to me. So the Charizard EX, and I had to double check these pull rates, 1 in 225, and then the Mew SIR is 1 in 465. There is exactly double the number of Charizards and half the pull rate for the Charizard. So these two effectively imply almost the same number of packs. So I don't know how to interpret this any way other than as much 151 as they've printed. They've also printed a ton of Fates, or the grade percentage for the Bubble Mew is much greater than what it is for the Charizard EX, because everybody and their brother's ripping 151, and they're not ripping Paldean Fates. But either way, it is super fascinating. Just the fact that the numbers are that close. Shrouded Fables, nobody's opening, which is exactly what we're seeing in the market because there's no reason to. Now, Prismatic, this is interesting. So again, this is going to be a lagging indicator because 39 million packs. Now, we look at 39 million packs here, that's more than Temporal, Paradox, SV Base, Stellar Crown. So this thing has been getting shredded like crazy. And quite honestly, there's probably another couple hundred of these in the pipeline, if not more. So we'll see what happens. I thought this was fascinating from an initial data point, but I think it's going to be more powerful going forward when you start seeing the change week over week was X number of cards. So the total number of packs being destroyed to generate those cards was X. And then we get to start plotting the velocity of what's getting ripped, what's getting destroyed, and what do the trends look like. And just one more quick thing before we get to it. So on the grade percentage, this is two factors. First of which is the card gradable. So, you look at the Gardevoirs for the SV base. The card quality is kind of garbage, right? So, is the 29 million packs implied from Gardevoir the fact that 1 in 10 is gradable? Whereas you look at the Raging Bolt, maybe it's 5 out of 5 are gradable. So that's a variable that could change things. But, not really relevant other than we can nitpick the starting point, which doesn't matter because the weekly data is going to be clean because there's no noise in it. And then in addition, is the person who gets the card a candidate to grade it? So those are the two items that go into the 10%. And again, the 10% doesn't really mean anything other than as we start looking week after week, we're going to see sets like, Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together and Surging Sparks show much higher pack rip rates than, SV Base or, Pale D Evolved because you can't get it. And we're just going to see the relative disparity in the set. So anyway, guys, feel free to provide any feedback on this. Like I said, I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now, the best way to do it. This is what I've come up with. And I think as we get a couple weeks down the road and everybody starts to see the trends, it's going to make a lot more sense. But I think it's a cool concept. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.